With household devices and electronics increasing in popularity and competition to stay current, e-waste is rapidly becoming the biggest waste problem for our globe. Each year, millions of TVs and computers are discarded, resulting in electronic waste increasing 3 times faster than regular waste in Australia. E-waste is both a global environmental and public health issue. E-waste is defined as disposal of electrical and electronic equipment that is dependent on electrical currents or electromagnetic fields in order to function. They include televisions, DVD players and tuners, computers, telephones and mobile phones, fridges, washing machines, microwaves, desk lamps, power drills, power tools, and devices for sport and leisure, including fitness machines and remote control cars. With global sales of smartphones in 2019 already recorded as 1.56 billion, 40 million tonnes of e-waste is created across the globe annually. Not only is this waste full of potential valuable metals, but it also has hazardous consequences for the environment if not discarded and recycled properly. E-waste follows a range of pathways after disposal, including formal and informal recycling, storage and dumping in both developed and underdeveloped countries. Incorrect disposal magnifies the health and environmental effects and doesn't allow for recovery of non-renewable precious metals, including gold, steel, copper, zinc, aluminium and brass. The amount of gold recovered from 1 tonne of e-waste is equivalent to that recovered from 17 tonnes of gold ore. When e-waste is sent to landfill, it combines with the acidity and water found in soil, leaching out dangerous chemicals such as lead, mercury, cadmium, PCBs and chlorobenzene into the soil and waterways. Biomagnification of heavy metals and carcinogens can occur, travelling up the food chain via crops and animals, accumulating in larger amounts as it climbs the food chain to human beings. Lead has been linked to increased risks of nervous system, reproductive system, kidney and blood malfunctions. Children are particularly at risk to lead poisoning. Cadmium can accumulate in human tissue, affecting kidneys, causing hypertension, heart disease and respiratory problems. Mercury can cause skin disorders, respiratory problems and brain damage. Chlorobenzene affects the functioning of the liver, central nervous system and thyroid. Because recycling of e-waste is so labour intensive and often involves the use of toxic chemicals, many first world countries like Australia illegally ship it overseas to third world countries such as Africa and India, where laws are much more lenient. Here it is informally recycled for its precious metals. The informal sector is made up of backyard type operations that use crude practices such as burning or hydrochloric acid to remove the precious metals. Soaking the printed circuit boards in nitric acid further compounds the problem, as the acids are often not disposed of correctly, contaminating local waterways. Burning e-waste causes primary and secondary exposure to chemicals and heavy metals such as lead. The burning creates a toxic dust full of chemicals including brominated flame retardants and PCBs. Brominated flame retardants have been linked to neural disorders, cancer, reproductive and thyroid issues. PCBs have been linked to neurotoxicity, liver damage, tumours and immunosuppression problems. This toxic ash and smoke not only affect the health of those processing the e-waste, but also enters the food chain via local crops and markets, further perpetuating the problem. The attitude of many first world countries has been, not in my backyard. Effects of poor waste management will start to be felt in first world countries through bioaccumulation of chemicals, contaminated waterways, airstreams and limited resources. The current tactic of limited shelf life in electronic devices adopted by businesses has magnified the e-waste problem and in turn substantially increased the world's ever-growing carbon footprint. A case in point is Apple, which admitted that 77% of its carbon footprint comes from manufacturing, while only 17% comes from device use. This places greater strain on not only non-renewable resources, but also renewable ones such as energy. One of the major issues surrounding the e-waste problem in first world countries, including Australia, is a lack of clear legislation and enforcement. Loopholes in the current legislation make it difficult to prosecute those not disposing of e-waste in the correct manner. It has also been highlighted that under the current National E-Waste Recycling Scheme, companies disposing of e-waste aren't reimbursed enough to cover the cost of disposing it in an ethical manner. This places companies under pressure financially, leading to less ethical manners of disposal, such as sending it overseas to third world countries. A report conducted by Dateline in 2011 revealed that in the past 2 years, 15 containers of e-waste had been stopped from being exported, but no one had been prosecuted. The Basel Convention is a non-profit international organisation that aims to reduce the production and movement of hazardous waste internationally and promote environmentally sound practices. Countries can voluntarily sign onto their international agreement, the Basel Amendment. It sets out regulations prohibiting first world countries from exporting their e-waste to third world countries. Australia, signing the Basel Amendment, would give it a starting point to build national legislation on the correct handling and disposal of e-waste. Prosecutions from loophole-free legislation could provide revenue to reimburse correct recycling methods. Tax breaks for sound ethical practices could encourage companies to do the right thing, while a tightening of laws alongside a dedicated enforcement agency could deter unethical behaviour. In recent news, globally, the handling and regulation of e-waste as both a hazardous waste and as a source of secondary materials has gone through significant changes in the past decade, as multiple countries have begun to change producer responsibility laws, which will mandate electric manufacturers to pay for proper recycling and disposal of all electronics. So what are we as Victorians doing? Local city councils have released a statement that from the 1st of July 2019, the Victorian Government are banning all e-waste from going to landfill. The Victorian Government is investing $16.5 million into upgrading e-waste collection and storage facilities across the state. Councillor Sarah Mansfield said that the City of Greater Geelong is glad to offer sustainable and free alternatives for disposing of these items, and we urge the community to make use of them as the ban comes into effect. As the e-waste recycling industry is becoming more formalised in the local community, small businesses like Officeworks and Harvey Norman are getting involved by having tech collection sites to increase their consumers to recycle their old waste. So, what can we do to help minimise the global e-waste problem at a local level? E-waste can be dropped off for free at Geelong Resource Recovery Centre, Drysdale Resource Recovery Centre. Mobile phones can be dropped off at one of the mobile muster sites across Geelong. And drop off your AA, AAA, C, D and 9-volt batteries at Geelong Resource Recovery Centre, Geelong Customer Service Offices, the Lara Library and your local Aldi store. There are many ways we can help reduce this problem. It only takes a moment to look up your local resource centres. Give it a go and see if we can tackle this problem head on.